Good afternoon to everybody. So now we are going to start the focus seminar on militarization of Asia and Pacific region. So first of all, allow me to welcome our panelists and the participants of this webinar. Today we are going to discuss about the newly established, really 50 days old new military pact focus, a pact among, as name itself speaks, Australia, United Kingdom and USA. Understanding the importance of this focus, Peace and Solidarity Organization of Sri Lanka decided to hold this webinar with the consultation of World Peace Council. For that, we invited very important and serious organizations of the world peace movement to evaluate the impact of this new focus pact. Before I introduce our panelists, I would like to mention few housekeeping information about the today's webinar content. So today, our agenda will be like this. First, there will be a short video presentation on focus. Then there will be an introductory speech by Peace and Solidarity Organization of Sri Lanka. Then we will start the speeches of the main 4 speakers, and each speaker will get 12 to 15 minutes time. Then we will move to the session of the participants, where you can ask questions, make comments, and answers. And then the panelists can make the answers. So we will have around 30 minutes for this session, and then vote of thanks. So before we start the seminar, I have to mention few important housekeeping announcements, comrades, especially for the participants. First, except the speakers, participants' mics will be muted by the host until the questions and answers session starts. The host will unmute your mics at the beginning of the Q&A session. The second point, if any participant having technical problems, which are common in Zoom meetings, please inform it directly to the host. Don't send it to everyone. Don't send your message to everyone. Please inform it directly to the host. By doing this, we can avoid any disturbances to the participants and the speaker. Third point, don't send your questions and comments during the speeches. You can please send your questions and comments after the 4 main speech. And finally, we have to conclude the webinar within 2 hours. Now it's around, in Sri Lankan time, it's around 6 past 13, like that. So by 8, maximum 8:10, we have to finish, because some of the panelists who are joining with us, for them it's very, very late night, especially for Australia. It's now around 11:45 p.m. So these are the important housekeeping announcements. Now I have the privilege to introduce our main panelists. First, I would like to introduce Comrade Iraklis Taudaradis. He is the Executive Secretary of the World Peace Council, and we welcome you, Comrade, very warmly. And then I would like to introduce Comrade Romina.
Many greetings. Welcome.
Thank you, Comrade. And second, we would like to introduce Comrade Romina Beatsin, Secretary of Campaign for International Cooperation and Disarmament, CICD Australia. We welcome you, Comrade. Right. Then third, we would like to welcome Comrade Harchan Singh, Deputy General Secretary of All India Peace and Solidarity Organization, APSO. We welcome you, Comrade.
Thank you very much.
And then Comrade Ajamu Baraka, Secretariat member of the US Peace Council and the national organizer of the Black Alliance for Peace in United States of America. We welcome you, Comrade, also.
My pleasure to be here.
Yes, thank you, Comrade. And here I would like to mention few lines for the information of our participants about these organizations as well as our expert panel. I have to mention it. I think it's my duty to mention it. All the four organizations who are participating here are prominent historical organizations with an uncompromised history of fight against imperialism, wars, and at the same time they are pioneers of struggle for peace. Some of these organizations are old, more than 70 years, some of them are 60 years, and they have fought very heroic struggles to keep peace in our region and our world. And not only that, all our four panelists are most prominent, experienced and principled peace activists and leaders. So on behalf of the passers and the participants, we really value and admire your participation in this webinar. So now I think we can move to the next item of the agenda. So now let's watch a small, brief introductory video about AUKUS made by one of our comrades. Yes.
Wednesday night saw a relatively unprecedented event. At 10 PM UK time, US President Joe Biden, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson and Australian PM Scott Morrison held a joint, albeit virtual, press conference to announce a trilateral security pact, one with quite significant ramifications, not just for the three countries involved. Start of a historic security pact between the three nations. Under the pact, known as AUKUS, Australia, UK and US, the three nations will share technology and expertise in order to ultimately allow Australia to build a fleet of nuclear-powered submarines. The US had previously kept its nuclear submarine technology extremely close to home. Prior to this pact, only the UK had received American nuclear submarine technology, hence their inclusion in this pact. All three leaders were at pains to stress that the submarines will be merely nuclear-powered, but they will not be equipped with nuclear arms. Nuclear-powered submarines have a number of advantages over conventionally powered submarines, most notably when it comes to weapon storage, speed and endurance. As the Australian government's own press release highlights, nuclear-powered submarines can stay completely submerged for many months, limiting the opportunities for detection by adversaries. France have been set to build 12 conventional submarines for Australia in a deal worth more than €50 billion, a deal that has fallen through in light of the pact. It's safe to say that France isn't happy with the move. In line with Australia's obligations under the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, the NPT, they will solely be equipped with conventional arms. Five Eyes Intelligence Sharing Alliance, which also includes New Zealand and Canada, an alliance that goes back to the 1940s. China, widely seen as the target of the pact but not officially named as such, was also incredibly quick to criticise AUKUS, arguing that the pact was extremely irresponsible, narrow-minded, severely damages regional peace, intensified the arms race, and is reminiscent of the obsolete Cold War mentality. Not the most glowing of reports.
So it's got everything that I wanted to say in the presentation. So I have to change my talk to something.
Don't touch it, just do it as is.
No, it's already been presented.
Do it as it is. Try and alter it now. Fuck it up. Just do it as it is. Someone.
Okay. We will post this short video to Paso's page, and then I think you can refer it again. So now let's move to the next item of the agenda, comrade. There will be a short introductory speech about the present situation of Asia and Pacific region by Comrade Sunil Gamage. He's an executive committee member of PASO Sri Lanka. So, Comrade Sunil, you now floor is for you.
Thank you very much, Comrade Bimal. Good evening, dear comrades. First of all, I would like to thank Peace and Solidarity Organization of Sri Lanka, PESOS, giving me this opportunity to address this webinar and express few ideas about the militarizing in the Asia Pacific region. First of all, why imperialists attempt to keep the power and doing influences over Asia Pacific region using military agreements? Because powerful countries have long-term plans to secure their supply chains, to ensure the smooth functioning of economies, as well as guarantee the highest rates of return to their capital. For this purpose, all over the world, whole war is being executed between powerful nations with hidden agendas, which have been nicely covered by defense agreements. For this purpose, all powerful countries have established own military bases in the Asia Pacific region. First of all, let's have a look on the level of militarization in Asia Pacific region today. What are the United States military bases in Asia Pacific region? We know they have established 11 base camps in Japan, then 15 base camps in South Korea, and 1 camp in Singapore, then 4 camps in Australia, 2 camps in New Zealand, 1 camp in Uzbekistan, again 1 camp in Kyrgyzstan. There are 5 camps in Philippines and 1 in Guam. You know, Diogo Garcia is an occupied militarized island. We know Diogo Garcia has a big history about the militarized, so they have established this as an island, militarized island. In addition to the military bases, imperialist and regional powerful countries have had dozens of military agreements with various countries in the Asia Pacific region. We'll see agreements signed by US with India. In 2002, they have signed General Secretary of Military Information Agreement. It's called SOMIA. And then 2016, they have signed with India Logistics Support Agreement. It's called LSA. Then there's another agreement in the same year. In 2016, they have signed Logistic Exchange Memorandum of Agreement. It's called LEMOA. Then 2018, Communication Compatibility and Security Agreement. It's called COMCASA. They have signed. COMCASA deals with secure military communication. This also increased the ability to communicate safely with all US-made equipments used by foreign military, such as Japan and Australia. The important fact is this agreement. The data acquired through Comcasa cannot be disclosed or transferred to any person or entity without India consent. Then there's another agreement called BECA. This is called Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement, signed on 26 October 2020. So BECA enables supply of high-end equipment as well as real-time intelligence and information, which will allow India to piggyback on American geospatial information to hit enemies, targets with pinpoint accuracy. So this is a very important point of this BECA agreement. And there's another agreement called QUAD, Quadrilateral Security Dialogue. So this was signed by US, and then India, Japan, and Australia are the members of this alliance, and mainly focuses the naval military power within the region. In addition to these agreements, US has signed military agreements called Acquisition and Cross-Servicing Agreements, ACSA, with 38 countries in the Asia-Pacific region. Further, US has signed a strong military agreement with Sri Lanka and with many countries called SOFA. It's called Status of Forces Agreement. Then what are the military agreements signed by India? India has signed a fresh military agreement with Maldives on 22nd February 2021 in the name of harbor protection. Then there's another agreement they have signed, building a full-fledged Army, Navy, and Air Force military base is an island belonging to Mauritius. India has a military bases and facilities in Bhutan, Nepal, Seychelles, Madagascar, Oman, and Tajikistan also. Then we'll see what has China. Shanghai Cooperation Organization, this is called SCO, also known as Shanghai Pact, is a Euro-Asian political, economic, and security alliance established in 2001. We know which represent 40% of the world population and 20% of the world GDP. The organization represents 8 countries, namely China, Russia, Pakistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and Kazakhstan, also India. So this is called SCO. There are few countries involved with this organization as an observer. Even Sri Lanka has involved in this SCO as an observer. On the other side, China has established its foreign military bases in Djibouti, Tajikistan, Myanmar also. Then what are the Australia foreign military bases they have established? Australia has established its own camps in following countries to expand the military power, especially in Asia Pacific region. Malaysia, they have established a design rifle company, Butterworth, is for the training purposes, military training purposes. They have established a camp in Butterworth in Malaysia. Then United Arab Emirates. Then again, they have established an base camp in Iraq, and then also in Pacific Island, in Solomon Island. So these are the foreign military bases established by Australia. And what are the impacts on the Asia Pacific region by these military agreements? There are a variety of issues affecting regional, cultural, and political and economic traditions in the region due to these type of military agreements. The one is NATO is developing close relation with its 4 Asia Pacific partners, namely Australia, Japan, Korea, and New Zealand. This is called Pacific NATO, Asia Pacific NATO, and they are focusing topics of cyber defense, non-proliferation, civil preparedness, human peace and security. We know which are common issues even in the many countries. The imperialists and their supportive various military organizations use the local issues to interfere in internal matters of the countries. As an example, North and South Korea issue. Then again, China and Taiwan issue. When we consider the China and Taiwan issue, US used the issue to engage its arm in Taiwan. This US president, the Taiwan president, she's accepted the presence of US army in Taiwan. So this is the situation how the US interfere with internal matters in the country. So Defense Secretary of US Mark Esper emphasized the importance of implementing a national defense security plan, considering great power competitors, and formulated following strategies on priority basis. The one is improve the lethality and readiness of the force. The second one is strengthen allies and build partners. Third one is reform the department for greater efficiency and accountability. Finally, we have to evaluate the impact of this newly established focus within this scenario. Asian Pacific has been militarizing it at an alarming speed, especially after within last 2 decades. Now this new war machine, focus, born just 50 days ago, is entering into the already highly militarized person. What Asia Pacific region need is peace and development. Nuclear vessel or military bases neither bring peace nor development. I think our fellow speakers will elaborate the impact of focus on our home region, Asia Pacific. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Comrade Sunil, for explaining the present military situation in our home region, Asia and Pacific. So now we can move to our main, for the main speakers. So first, without taking any time, I would invite Comrade Iraklis, Executive Secretary of the World Peace Council, to start his speech. Comrade, please.
Thank you, Comrade Bimal, and dear comrades and friends. Our deepest militant peace greetings to all the participants and to all our comrades and friends in Sri Lanka. Allow me first of all to congratulate the Peace and Solidarity Organization of Sri Lanka, PASOS, for its initiative to organize this online event on the recent military agreement between Australia, the United Kingdom, and the USA, known as AUKUS. PASOS is proving once again that it is following deeply and thoroughly the developments in the region of Asia and the Pacific, always alerted, committed, and vigilant to the threats and dangers posed in front of the peoples regarding peace and security. International developments are complex and dangerous in all parts of the world. Hotspots of confrontation and imperialist wars are manifesting. Competition for control of markets, energy resources and pipelines, maritime freight routes are intensifying. New elements are added to the race of big interests. The intra-imperialist contradictions are being waged through economic and political diplomatic means, are being expressed in military confrontations with the increase and modernization of armaments, while the danger of a wider and even more generalized imperialist war is growing. The United States has withdrawn in 2002 from the Anti-Ballistic Missile Treaty, the ABM, and in 2017 from UNESCO. In 2018 from the Iran Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, the so-called JCPOA. In 2017, they withdrew from the Trans-Pacific Partnership and proceeded to freeze the negotiations on the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Agreement, TTIP, along which was signed with the European Union. In 2000,